I'm going to use this picture to so I'm going to use this picture just to show you how to select. So that's one of the key functions you're going to have to know how to do in Photoshop in order to make it work. Now, over on the left here, you see that this is the selection area, and you get 5 options there plus a select subject. Now, oftentimes the best thing to do will just be to tap that select subject, and you'll see what happens here. Okay, there we go. It's selected the subject. And then down at the bottom, I have different choices. I could deselect this, which you'll have to do from time to time to say, no, I don't want it. I can create a mask with it, which I'll teach you what a mask means later. I could erase it. So if I just tap erase, it erases all of me. Or I could invert it, and you're going to use invert a lot. So if I tap invert, notice it selected the area around me instead of me. And whenever we have a selection area, we call those little dots that kind of walk around the selection area, we call those the marching ants. So that tells you the area that is selected. So I can now erase that area, and then I have a nice little cutout of myself. Now it's not perfect because, again, it was just trying to do its best to guess where I am and where I'm not, but it's pretty good. I also have more options here where I can refine the edge. So I can say, okay, let me try to detect this edge further. I can try to smooth that out, feather, contrast it, and we'll go over those. Those are more advanced moves, but we'll go over that later. So I can get back out of that from that advanced selection and say cancel. Okay, then my other options for selecting is I can use a lasso tool. Let me just deselect. The lasso tool is nice because I can go along here with my finger. If you have an Apple Pencil, you can do it even better. And notice it's going to stop it as soon as, and make it kind of a loop as soon as I lift up my finger. So if I go like this though, I can do my best to try to select around it. And then, especially if I'm just doing a quick selection, it's really not going to be that bad. Okay, so I have that selected. I can also say I don't want a certain area, and I can do that by clicking this one that's further down, so I can get rid of a selection area. And I just use my fingers to kind of make little circles. Or if I messed up there and I want to go a little farther, I can add to this selection and say, ooh, I want this in there as well. So you can see where this could be good or bad, right? Because it would help you fix some things. So for instance, if we went back to the beginning here and said select subject, and the computer does as good a job as it can of selecting it, then what I could do though is zoom in and then choose this lasso tool, choose that I want to add to the selection, and I can kind of go like this. And then you can see that I can end up making a really precise selection overall by adding it. And then if I mess up there a little bit, that's okay because I can just go to subtract and I can subtract that away. And then same with up here, I want to subtract this whole area. So I'm just making a nice little circle around it and trying to do my best to get it as closely selected as possible. That's going to be important when you are trying to make convincing mixes of different things. Okay, so there's that selection of me. That's really pretty nice. Again, I have other selections I could select, so we can deselect this here, but I could select a square. Okay, so I get kind of that area, and it tries again to guess with this selection tool, the second one over. It's going to try to guess that. I can also select in a kind of a round manner. So if I just wipe my finger when I'm on this selection tool, it's going to select as much as it thinks I want. And so all I'm doing is running my finger over these areas that are selected, and it tries to do the guessing of that. You can see it kind of works. It works better if there's a lot of contrast. And so I can deselect all that. And then I can also just do literally a box. This is great if you have, again, or just box areas. So for instance, that screen behind me, if I wanted to select just that screen area, this could work really well because I could say, okay, I want certain areas and I don't want certain areas of this screen. And I can, erase that, add to that. But To learn it, the best way to do it is just to play around with each selection and try different things. So circles here, I can do different circles. And I really suggest you practice, zooming in with 2 fingers, because if I want to just get my eyeball here, and if I want to add to that, oops, there we go. So see, as I can add those extra circles, I can get with this kind of rounded organic shape. But I might want to have this for some reason, like if I want to change the colors of my eyes or whatever that might be. So anyway, I can work through that kind of process, deselect that. So those are the many options for selecting. When you, for instance, do this face swap, which will be one of your first assignments, what you're going to have to do is basically, carve out my face here, and then you'll put that onto another layer of Dr. Exley's face. That's selection. There's a few more things that are a little bit more complicated, but that's the good first overview of it.